I'm sure you've heard the expression, beware the Ides of March. Well, this March, instead of beware, we have an invitation, and a lovely one, because I'm going to suggest we take this 30-day challenge to experience joy and peaceful completion in all of our relationships, especially the ones closest to us. And the reason I say that is because this week on Wednesday is a powerful culmination, like a peak on a mountaintop, March 20th, and that is carrying several things for us all in one day and all related to how we are and who we are in our relationship to one another. So first, on March 20th, a few hours before dawn on the Pacific coast, Warrior Mars, who's in the earthy sign of Taurus now, makes this beautifully harmonious working agreement, an arrangement with powerful Pluto, who's in earthy Capricorn. So yes, you earth and water signs, this is right up your alley. So usually these two mythological energies, Mars and Pluto, are like an iron fist against a cement wall. Neither of them likes to compromise or is willing in any way to compromise. But this week is going to be different, because we're going to find, and you are going to find, that place in your life where your heels may be dug in, where you have already made up your mind and you're sticking stubbornly to it. That place is where, in our most intimate relationships, we set up a battleground for these kinds of energies of the warriors, Mars and Pluto. And the helpful thing that we're getting, it's not about giving in. It's about forgiving. So power struggles, any that you find yourself in, and since Mercury is retrograde, that would also be power struggles you're having within yourself when you're struggling with, well, wait, what do I really believe about that? So those energies are now, we can find a secure, stable, and meaningful compromise if you trust your hunches and you trust your intuition. So hi, I'm Judith Royal, archetypal astrologer, and this is your astrology weather forecast for March 18th through the 24th, 2019. So on the Wednesday peak, we have other things going on, because in mid-afternoon, the sun is going to go into Aries, the fiery Aries, and that is, of course, the beginning of the spring equinox, and it is also then the start of the astrological new year in Western astrology. So there are all kinds of fresh sprouts, things starting to pop up through the cracks in the cement and growing into beautiful spring flowers. So that has started, and the stage then is set for also on Wednesday, the first of two full moons that we're going to have back to back in Libra. Wednesdays, the first one, comes around 7:43 Pacific Daylight Time in the evening. And the second Libra full moon is going to come 30 days later on April 19th. So that's why I suggested this could be a 30-day challenge, because also we have that, it activates that axis between yin and yang, between the yang warrior energy in Aries, and then exactly opposite to that is the Venus-ruled Libra energy of cooperation and diplomacy. Those are the two energies that both of these full moons in Libra set off in us. As I was visualizing this 30-day challenge, this 30 days of an arc between 0 degrees Libra and 29 degrees Libra, I saw this axis between Aries and Libra, the opposition. I saw the challenge in that in a different way than I've seen it before. I saw that instead of the old astrology paradigm of Libra always in a relationship, people pleasing and bending over backwards, and the yin energy in all of us giving in order to avoid conflict, right? That's traditionally the struggle, because the opposite side of Aries, the warrior, is the energy of I'll do it myself, I don't need anyone else, very independent, and not actually prone to any kind of dual relationship. So just this week, I saw that differently. I saw that Libra, that side of it, that side of our challenge, is that we are all in this together. Libra knows this. Libra is ruled by Venus, and Venus is all about relationships. And so on the Libra side, we get that beautiful spiritual truism that we are never alone. We're not even having thoughts alone. That whatever you think I feel, whatever I think you feel in some way. And so the Libra side of it says we're all swimming around in the same ocean. And then the Aries side, I saw that also true and not in any kind of conflict with the Libra yin, but the Aries yang is saying, yes, that's true. We are all in this together, and we all have our own unique role to play. I know that spiritually that is very true. So that although we have in like-mindedness, we have the oneness of our collective consciousness, then we also have a unique role in our destiny that only we can fulfill. And that even if one person has not joined to fulfill their own unique role, we are missing a note in the symphony, in the celestial choir, as it were. So our challenge is to do this in our relationships, to realize first that we are one, that our minds are joined, and so we stop lying to one another and holding secrets because they aren't really secrets anyway. And also, we value the uniqueness of the person that we're in the relationship with. We love the differences. We don't try to overcome them or act as if they're not there or point them out in some rather unforgiving way. Rather, we honor them and learn to work with the uniqueness that is in our partners, our friends, that doesn't in any way take away from our own uniqueness. So I guess the long and the short of all of this is, in this challenge, is to be a love finder and not a fault finder, of course, because always the choice is between seeing through the eyes of love or seeing through the eyes of fear, and then sending out and looking for witnesses to what we have decided to believe. So decide in this challenge as you begin it what you would like to believe about your partner. Something new now, not something old, but a new belief that you would like to hold that brings you joy. And then in this 30 days, you challenge yourself to find witnesses that that is true. With that in mind, we need to look at Messenger Mercury for our communications. and how we can best utilize that energy. So Mercury, went retrograde on March the 5th and will be retrograde until March the 28th. So we're right sort of smack in the middle of it this week. And the interesting thing is that this week is going to have another culmination, which will come on Sunday. And that is Mercury is having these three interactions or joining with Neptune, the big titan in the oceans with the trident. So Mercury retrograde has taken us in this deep dive into our own personal Davy Jones locker. That is the place that perhaps has been buried, or we just have been inattentive to our treasure. So Mercury is asking us to go on a spiritual journey within ourselves, because Neptune is the spiritual visionary. So that's very much highlighted. And we go on this journey with retrograde Mercury so that with our trident sword, or sometimes it's also referred to as the three thorns, we separate out the wheat from the chaff, but we find and really reevaluate, what do we treasure? What down there in our unconscious mind have we piled up and called valuables that actually might as well just remain down there because they aren't actually true, or they're not really of use to you in who you are now as a beautiful, beautiful light in this world. So the first of those three visionary opportunities came on February the 18th. So hopefully you keep a diary. You can look back and see what probably epiphany or what came up in your meditation. And then this week on Sunday, March 24th, we're going to have, still in retrograde, Mercury again with Neptune. And in short, this is the energy of that letting go and the Pisces burial ground. So in other words, of looking at all that you have valued. What do you really want to leave behind? So we have that energy on Sunday, and then we're going to have the grand finale on April the 2nd. And that one is going to be the unveiling of what you have decided is gold in your world. And it is also then setting us up to be our own prophets, making prophecies for our own future based on what we have come to value. Let me emphasize that this series of Mercury retrograde has a particular strength to it that's unusual, sort of like a cyclone, and that the most dynamic time in this retrograde period is going to be from March 21st, so that's this Thursday, to March the 30th. That's when you can expect the most challenging interruptions in communications. I had to sort of smile when I saw headlines this week where I think it was Apple iCloud went down, problems with Gmail, Google Drive, WhatsApp, and it just went on and on. So let's remember, we are called to listen to our inner voice, and everything else is going to probably have interruptions. Let's pause for a moment and remember that we are in the lunar cycle that began with those monumental shifts on the new moon, March 6th. And we have just begun this tremendous new era in which we are both solidly dug in and consistently practical about some of the things in our life. And I'm saying that for you air and fire signs to know that it's a time of deliberately slowing down. Because at the same time, we are downloading that electrical energy from the God of lightning to lead us to some freedom from restrictions that unlike anything we've known before. Think about when you go over and just turn on your light in the evening in your living room, and you just have learned to trust that the electricity that you can't see is there. We have come to believe in it because we have witnessed its effects over and over. And this is how I see astrology. I don't know really what the electromagnetic energy has any effect at all. I don't know exactly why the configuration of planets lights up a certain energy in us. But I've seen its effects over and over so powerfully that I've come to trust in it. In the same way, I trust in a higher power, which I believe is unconditional love, and the way in which that electricity is in all of us, that spark is in all 7 billion of us. Even though we may not see it, we can watch for and witness its effects. I watch for the energy of this new 7-year cycle with the God of lightning in the down-to-earth Taurus sign. And I watch the good news, and I feel so encouraged that we are seeing this. For example, 11-year-old girl in Arkansas who decides to help some elderly in a home and does a GoFundMe that is extraordinary. That's the new values that this Taurus energy by Uranus would bring us. And in our own relationships, in the ways that we can give to one another. So I'm going to leave you with this thought is from Hafez, Hafez, and he says about the relationship of the sun and the earth and the moon. He says that even after all this time, the sun never says to the earth, "You owe me." Look what happens with a love like that. It lights the whole sky. Thanks for listening, and I'll be back next week, and let's think about what you're going to do with your 30-day challenge to love. Bye for now.